Hello and welcome to the Cohn Phone. This has become quite the popular segment. And what it's turned into is you guys are the stars. You guys listen to me rant and ramble and babble all week. And then you guys want to come on my channel and tell me how it is. And I'm happy to listen. I like listening. So what I figure is I'll come on 15 minutes early every time and say what's on my mind, maybe spur a little conversation, and then basically sit back and let you guys be the stars. So for the next 15 minutes, I got 4 topics. Please indulge me. First, Weston Richburg. The 49ers restructured his contract, created almost $7 million in salary cap space, and they did it by restructuring, as I just said, Weston Richburg's contract. That's a tongue twister. And they could do that because he has no more guaranteed money in his contract and he's going to retire. And so, a couple of things I saw on the internet this morning. Good for the 49ers that they were able to create some cap space. Good news for the 40. It is good news. Now the Niners have $31.6 million in salary cap space. That's great. Maybe this move here is what's going to allow the 49ers to keep Jason Verrett or Kyle Juszczyk or Jaquiski Tart, some guy they weren't going to be able to keep. Now they can. That's great. So positivity, wonderful. And also Weston Richburg, if he is retiring, congrats on a great career. Now enough of that positive stuff. Enough of that sentimental stuff. I don't do that sentimental stuff. Let's talk about what a terrible signing Weston. But before we get there, I was talking about a couple of weeks ago, I did the 39 worst decisions Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch have made since they took over the team. Well, let's add a couple to that, if this wasn't already on it. Not addressing the center position last year. What were they thinking? They knew what the injury was. He wasn't even close to coming back. They thought he might return for 2020. No, he's going to retire. He's never going to play again. How did you get that one so wrong? This should have been addressed last year. They should have drafted or signed a center last year, but they went into the offseason thinking, oh, we'll have Richburg back. Or I just can't imagine that. I can't fathom that Weston Richburg's injury was this serious. The Niners knew it, and we're like, let's roll the dice, see what happens. So that's one. Not addressing the center position last year is gross negligence in hindsight, knowing what we know now and what the Niners should have known all along. 2, signing this guy to begin with. Let's give the Weston Richburg legacy, what he accomplished with the 49ers. He played like 4 years for the Giants, made about $4 million, had some injuries, was a solid center, solid. But right before he came to the Niners, he had a season where he had a concussion and missed 12 games. Then he hit free agency after making about $4 million in his career. The Giants, who knew him quite well, were like, you know what? We're good. The Niners, who didn't know him nearly as well, but knew that he'd missed 12 games the previous season, were like, you know what? He's fantastic. He's not just any center. He's a super center. And the only thing missing from him is a cape on his back because that's how good he is. You heard Alex Mack? No. Weston freaking Richburg, greatest center of all time. Well, the Niners ended up spending $29.9 million paying Weston Richburg $29.9 million for what amounted to 28 regular season games. No Pro Bowl appearances. More than $1 million a game for a solid center who missed a lot of time and was coming off an injury when the Niners got him. Not a good signing. This is why the Niners are where they are when they say, oh, man, he's got bad luck with injuries. No, you've had injuries, but you've had the luck you created for yourself when you signed this guy and gave him an amazing amount of money. He goes in the pantheon of, there are like 4 or 5 people living in like Cabo San Lucas or with like $100 million in their bank account, maybe 50, 30, that did nothing, but they're living fat in retirement because of the 49ers. Malcolm Smith, Pierre Garçon, this guy now. I mean, how many guys have the Niners set up for life for doing nothing? If you want a retirement fund and you're a 30-year-old football player, come to the 49ers. They will pay you handsomely for some stuff you did in the past, or maybe never did. Maybe just some stuff that Kyle thinks you can do in his system. Jerick McKinnon, that's another guy, $30 million set for life because of the Niners. Never had to do anything. Weston, enjoy it. Nothing wrong with that. You came here, you signed a contract, you played, you got hurt, you left. You didn't do anything wrong. Niners, what were you thinking on that one? Weston Richburg, huh? He's great. No. Maybe the money that they saved on Richburg will use it for Alex Mack. I would bring Mack in a draft a center. Keep up the great work, Grant. Thank you. Wow. Thank you so much. Yeah, they're definitely going to bring in a guy like Alex Mack, and they'll fix this, and this is a good day for the 49ers. But let's not just forget what an amazingly bad signing Weston Richburg was. And even though I'm against most things the Niners do when they do it, I was against the Weston Richburg signing. For the record, they signed him and Jerick McKinnon in the same offseason. Am I wrong? Wow. That's how you use cap space right there, baby. Boom. All right, let's move on. The Niners released Ronald Blair. Ronald Blair has a special place in the Niners history. He was one of only a few players who have made it from the previous regime. John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan came to the 49ers and pretty much they just scorched earth, starting over, reboot. And they kept like 7 people or 10. Now there's like 4 left. And Blair was one of them. The other ones are Jimmy Ward, Eric Armstead, Jaquiski Tartt, who's on the way out, Dante Johnson, who's on the way out, and Raheem Mostert and Blair. And so let's not linger on Blair because he's gone and he probably won't come back. And his career was interesting because he was a mid-round pick of Trent Baalke's, one of Baalke's better picks. And he didn't really get to do anything his rookie year. The new regime comes in, takes a look at him, and realizes he's too good for us to get rid of. I mean, they got rid of everyone, but they kept him. But they didn't know what to do with them. They had him on the bench. They never had a role for him. They drafted Solomon Thomas. They played Solomon Thomas over Ronald Blair routinely, especially back in 2017. And every time Ronald Blair got on the field, it was obvious that he was way better than Solomon Thomas and a lot of the players that were playing ahead of them. Cassius Marsh, Dakota Watson. He was underused. One of the original underutilized 49ers in this John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan regime. Whenever he got on the field, he looked like he was pretty good. He was perfect against the run. He always got his assignments right. He was strong. He could bend around the edge. He was exactly what you want from a backup defensive end. And really, on the Niners, he should have been starting. He should have had a lot more playing time. He finally tore his ACL chasing down Russell Wilson, which is something a lot of these Niners defensive ends haven't been able to do the last 10 years. So salute Ronald Blair. Pretty soon, the only guys remaining from that previous regime will be Ward and Armstead and Mostert, 3 guys. So Ronald Blair, it's really too bad that his career had to go the way it did. He signed on with the 49ers last year so he could rehab with them. And God, it's probably the last place you would want to rehab as an athlete because I don't know. It feels like every Niners player who gets hurt has like 1,800 setbacks in Santa Clara. I don't know what that's about. But Ronald Blair, it's really too bad that happened. Gray Fox. Wow. Thank you so much. $50. I want to give you a better answer, but I can't. Yeah, I think they're probably going to sign Alex Mack or another center. They're going to address the center position now, but they should have done that last year, Gray Fox. Really generous. Wow. Thank you. Whew. Okay. 2 more. So I've been thinking about, quarterbacks ad nauseum. I love thinking about them, and it's quarterback year because the Niners need one. And trying to think who's Shanahan's guy. Is it Mac Jones? Is it Kellen Mond? I think I've figured it out. Here's what I'm thinking. Put it this way. I don't have the greatest record of scouting quarterbacks, but in 2017, I had CJ Beathard in multiple mock drafts when I wrote for the Press Democrat. Now, I had him in the 6th round because no one really thought he was going to go that high. But I watched CJ Beathard clips at Iowa. I watched him and immediately was like, oh, Kyle's going to love this guy. And you know why? One reason. The offense he was in. I don't think Kyle's a particularly sophisticated quarterback scout either. What he has a very specific kind of offense. It's 1980s under center, old school. And the whole under center thing is something a lot of quarterbacks don't do very much anymore. And if you draft a guy who spent his entire career in the shotgun or the pistol, there's a chance that quarterback won't be ready to play from under center as a rookie right away. That it'll take some teaching. Kyle doesn't want to do that. He wants to teach his scheme. He doesn't want to teach quarterback fundamentals like receiving snaps from under center. Now, Jim Harbaugh had no problem with that. He drafted Colin Kaepernick, who's in the pistol his entire college career, no problem. But Kaepernick wasn't ready to start. I was there his rookie year in camp. He fumbled snaps from under center every day. It was embarrassing, but it's what happens. Never done it before. Shanahan, I don't think, has that kind of patience. So when he drafted Beathard, the guy was under, you could see it. He was under center. He did play action. He turned his back to the defense. He threw downfield. That's all Kyle's really looking for, or was in 2017. Why didn't he take Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun Watson? They weren't under center. He couldn't see what he needed to see. He couldn't scout what he needed to scout. So he passed on him and said, oh, I was waiting for Kirk Cousins or this or that. Or no, he wouldn't have taken those guys one way or another. He did say, though, recently, that if Josh Allen had entered the draft in 2017, he would have taken Josh Allen. In 2017, meaning after 1 year of starting for Josh Allen. Josh Allen did play under center at Wyoming. He just played in a more, the scheme he played in was kind of like Kyle's in the sense that he was under center. And that's all Kyle needed to see. Good athlete, under center. Okay, my kind of guy. I trust him more than Mahomes and Deshaun Watson, who have these long track records. It's just I don't trust their stats. I don't trust if they translate to my system. What's interesting about the Josh Allen thing, if you would take Josh Allen after 2017, he had like no track record, no resume, very few throws on his stat sheet. Well, you know who else is like that? Trey Lance. And I was watching Trey Lance's pro day yesterday because it was on TV, and I was listening to Daniel Jeremiah, and he's just like, oh my God, look at him throw the ball. This is Josh Allen, everyone. This is Josh Allen 2.0. And I strongly disagree with that. We can talk about that later, but hearing Daniel Jeremiah throw out the Josh Allen comparison and remembering what Kyle Shanahan said about Josh Allen and the fact that he drafted CJ Beathard and not those other Mahomes and Watson, and it's pretty much solely because one guy was under center in college and the other one wasn't. I mean, it's a terrible reason to draft a quarterback, the kind of offense he played in college. But I mean, that's what we're working with here. And you look at Trevor Lawrence, shotgun pistol all day. Zach Wilson, mostly shotgun pistol, little under center, but mostly shotgun pistol. Justin Fields, shotgun pistol. Mac Jones, shotgun pistol. Kellen Mond, shotgun pistol. The only one really who was under center is Trey Lance. That's what they do up at North Dakota State. It's an old school type of offensive system. He drops back, he does the play action, turns his back to the defense, throws downfield. Does that mean he's going to be a good quarterback in the NFL? Of course not. Does it mean Kyle Shanahan's going to like him? Yes. If he's looking for a project, he's going to go for Trey Lance over Justin Fields 10 out of 10 times. He's going to look for reasons not to like Justin Fields because of the offense he came from. Not a good reason to scout a quarterback. That's what he's going to do. He's going to look for reasons to like Trey Lance because of the offense he's coming from. I guarantee it. I can't guarantee it, but I feel strongly about that. I think here's what's going to happen. Trey Lance's stock is up now. He's going to go before Justin Fields, I think. If he goes number 4 to the Falcons, you don't have to worry about this at all. But if he drops, the Niners could trade up to 7 to get him. And if he's there at 12, I think there's a guarantee. I think they're going to take him. And they'll keep Jimmy or something, or they won't. Who cares about Jimmy? I feel like what Kyle could say is, you know what? He's a one-read quarterback. He's limited. He's this or that. So is Jimmy. I've been working around Jimmy's limitations for years. I can just do that with Trey Lance and add a little more, athleticism to the position. I can see him doing it. Doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. In fact, it's the wrong thing to do. Trey Lance will break your heart. Coach killer. Oh my God. Not Josh Allen. Real quick. Josh Allen had a low completion percentage in college because he would drop back and instantly have 3 guys in his face and no one open, and he would run around and try to make things happen. Trey Lance is at the best school in 1AA football He drops back and has all day to throw. He never goes through a progression. Everything's a one read. He's never under pressure. He throws like 18 passes a game. He's not Josh Allen, but some teams are going to think he is. I think it's probably going to be the Niners. Only thing, as you as a fan can really hope for here, is that the Falcons make the mistake at number 4. Final thing, Ian Rappaport says the Niners aren't interested in Sam Darnold or Teddy Bridgewater. Ha! Okay, this is so good. I love this about the 49ers. So the report about Bridgewater was flimsy. I don't even know. It came from like Dan Saleo or whatever. He has no credibility. So if the Niners want to say he's wrong, then whatever. No one's going to stick up for him. But the second one, Sam Darnold, that came from Peter King. He said it was a source extremely close to the 49ers. That means it's basically John Lynch or Kyle Shanahan. I mean, Peter King, he's not going to play fast and loose with that kind of language. And he says the Niners are playing around with a scenario where they keep Jimmy and trade for Sam Darnold. So then so the Bridgewater thing came out last week. Niner fans hated it. We all said that on Twitter. We made our feelings. I'm not a Niner fan, but I led the charge. Let the Niners know how that move would be received. Not well. And then the Sam Darnold thing. Like Niner fans were basically pleading on Twitter, don't freaking do this. This is terrible. And then guess what? Ian Rappaport comes out on KMBR in San Francisco and says, oh, by the way, Niners don't expect the Niners to trade for Sam Darnold. And they never even called about Teddy Bridgewater. Whatever. Here's what the Niners do. And I believe this. They float these things out there as trial balloons. They tell one reporter, hey, man, we kind of like Sam Darnold. Hey, don't report that we said it. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you, we might trade for this. A scenario. It's a scenario where we would trade for Darnold. Now, you didn't hear it from us. You didn't hear it from us. Okay. But there's a scenario. And Peter King's like, okay. And then Peter King runs with it. It's not a treat to anyone. And the Niners just chill way back and go, all right, let's see what people think. And they read the room and they're like, well, I guess we can't really show this one to the fans, can we? And then they call up Ian Rappaport and be like, hey, Peter King, that report, I don't know where that came from. It's not true. Go tell everyone we don't like Sam Darnold. It's just trial balloons. Let's see what I want to say is you made this happen, everyone. Sam Darnold could have been on the Niners right now, but you said no. They listened to you. You have much more power than you realize. This is your day. Give yourself a pat on the back. Give yourself a round of applause. You spoke. They listened. And if you feel strongly about something else, maybe it's Deshaun Watson. Maybe it's Kellen Mond. Probably not Kellen Mond. But one of those things. They'll listen. They want to please you. They don't know how to do it. They're stuck. They know you don't really like Jimmy Garoppolo, but they know you really don't like Sam Darnold. So they're like, help us out. Tell us what to do. Anyway, good job, guys. I want to say good job. Steve says 49ers are signing Trubisky in a few days. It's real. Don't Monday morning quarterback the move like the rest of the NFL analysts next week. I can't read. Give a breakdown of why MT is Kyle's QB1 because he is. Facts. Wow. Look, I think signing Mitchell Trubisky makes much more sense than trading for Sam Darnold. But instead of signing Mitchell Trubisky, some semi-young quarterback who's got baggage and, skeletons in the closet and psychological battle wounds, why don't you just draft a quarterback? Why is it so hard? Why do you always have to bring in a quarterback who's at like year 4 in his career and is at a crossroads and he might have to pay? What do you want to pay Mitchell Trubisky? $10 million a year? Why? 15? No. Why can't you just draft a quarterback? Why is it so hard to draft a quarterback? It shouldn't be that hard. Mitchell Trubisky's cool, but I'd be much more into signing Alex Smith and drafting a quarterback. Get the guy on the rookie deal for 4 years. Get the right guy on the rookie deal for 4 years. That is how you win in the NFL, not by signing Mitchell Trubisky. I like Mitchell Trubisky. God love him. But there are better options out there. It's not Trey Lance, though. Yeah, if the choice is Trey Lance or Mitchell Trubisky, yeah, for sure. Okay, it's time to take questions. I'm going to put the link in the description so you can refresh your page now. And I'm putting it in the comments section. Boom. All right. So when you guys are ready, we'll talk and I'll answer your questions for the next hour. So I'll give you guys some time, let you gather your thoughts. I got to tell you, though, the waiting room fills up at 12. There's nothing I can do. If you don't get in early, it fills up. I already got people in here. So I can't. You got Michael Miller.
Yes, I got a lot to talk about.
Hold on real quick.
Short period of time.
I got to set some ground rules because this has become a very, very popular show and I only have an hour. Please, let's do this in 5 minutes so I can get as many people in.
When am I going to get the hour later on the show?
Hey, we'll work that out. Absolutely.
Okay.
In 5 minutes, man. What's on your mind?
Okay, quick. D Ford will restructure his deal. He will be out, retired. We'll get about $12 million saved there this year because they're going to spread it over a few years like it did with Weston just did. Also, have you looked at Cam Newton's contract? There's only $1,100,000 guaranteed. Means they could out the door just as soon as the Jimmy G trade comes.
I think it's like he got like a 1 point something. He got like a signing bonus,
guaranteed,
and he got a signing bonus. So those two together is like $3 million. That's it, right? That's it. Yeah,
it's peanuts. Peanuts.
It's a backup contract. The incentives are in place for him to be the starter, but he's going to have to earn that. And who's to say they won't draft a quarterback or trade for a quarterback on draft day, like Jimmy?
Well, we are going to draft a quarterback, probably the North Dakota State guy or Mac Jones. It's going to be one or the other.
You see what I'm saying about Trey Lance, right? You see what I'm saying about Trey Lance, though, right? Kyle's going to like him.
I like him. I'm opposite of whatever you are.
Okay. He's a good athlete.
I think he's going to be a project that's going to take 1 year behind Josh Rosen being the starter. That's why they kept Josh Rosen to start. He is a vet, even though he hasn't had as much playing time. He's still a vet. He's been in the league for 3 years. This will be his 4th year coming up. So you put him on the bench. He's got all the talent in the world. He just needs to be built.
My problem with Lance is it's not if it's a problem. My question with Lance, he's a kid, is his accuracy. I really think he's an error.
I seen a lot of mid passes yesterday and short passes and even 1 or 2 deep balls that were dead on the money.
Oh, he looked great on air. He looked great on air. But what I see from him, and Daniel Jeremiah has pointed it out too, when he's in a game and he wants to throw more than 10 yards down the field, he drops his weight like a pitcher, like an old school pitcher on a mound, and his head drops. And then he picks it back up. And it's like, I think that leads to inaccuracy because you're focusing on a target and now your eyes, I played baseball. If you move your head when you're hitting, you have no chance. If you move your head who throws like that in the NFL? Anyway, it's fixable, but I think he is a project. It's not just the lack of experience. And and people point to Josh Allen and be like, hey, look at him. He improved.
The bigger project is the Ohio State quarterback. A friend of mine is a qualified Ohio State guru, and he says he needs to stay on the bench, which is an Atlanta Falcons pick, in my opinion, where he can sit on the bench for 2 years, then come out and do it. That's what
I think Lance is going to go ahead of Fields. I think Fields' stock is dropping.
Fields is probably going to be late first round pick now.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Lance goes second round to the Falcons. I think people really like when I heard Daniel Jeremiah throw out the Josh Allen comparison, I was like, oh, okay. Well, that guy's definitely getting the top 5.
Well, you take the Atlanta Falcons. If they draft him, they can put him on the bench and all this.
Exactly.
But if they draft another quarterback at 4th, let's say a Zach Wilson or one of them players at 4th, it's saying basically we're throwing the season away for 2 years because we're stuck with Matt Ryan for 2 years with that horrible contract. And I don't think they want to tell that to their fans. But if they draft like Justin Fields, they can say to their fans, well, he's a couple years away anyway from being able to start. So
same with Lance. My prediction is it goes Lawrence 1, Wilson 2, Lance 4, Jones 8, and then Fields will be there for the Niners, and I don't think
Wilson will be the number 1 pick in the draft.
Oh, okay. Well, let's
see if I'm right.
I think it'll be whatever it is. Lawrence, Wilson 1, 2.
Yeah, they're 1A, 1B.
And then I do think Lance is going to go 4 to the Falcons. It just seems like people like him. I'll
be happy with Mac Jones.
I think Fields is dropping, and I think Mac Jones will go 8 to the Panthers. 8 to the Panthers.
I think the Panthers are going to probably sign Mitch Trubisky.
Okay.
That would be a good pick for them. Yeah. He's from Carolina.
Oh, he's from Carolina. Good point. Yeah, he played at North Carolina. Yeah. That'll be interesting.
And also, another thing is we're going to sign Trent Williams within the next 24 hours. It will be broken news that he will be signed. Kyle Shanahan's not letting him go.
Nice. It seems to me like the Niners are definitely prepared to make him the highest paid offensive lineman in the league.
Jeremiah, whatever his name is broke on it that they are in contract talks right now, and it's getting close.
Oh, good. I wouldn't be surprised. It seems to me that they're prepared.
It's going to cost, but
they're going to make him. Yeah, they're going to pay what it takes. But it seemed like he might wait around for a better offer. But if it's that good, why wait? I would imagine it's going to be $23.5 million per year. I bet you 5 years. Something like that. I don't
care as long as it's only about $15 million first year.
Yep. All right, Michael.
Look, cap's going up with the new TV contract. It's going straight up.
Exactly. So if you backloaded, it shouldn't be an issue. Michael, let's find a time, me and you, an hour next couple of weeks. All right.
Yep. Let's do it.
All right. Take care, man. Hold on, real quick, man. Someone left a comment real quick. Let me address it. Steve again. What's up, Steve? Last 3 years, large sample size, the QBs who have won 65% of their games and complete 65% of their passes: Mahomes, Wilson, Breeze, Big Ben, Trubisky. Oh, that's a good stat, Steve. Hey, I like Trubisky. I'm on the Trubisky train. He's a better player than Sam Darnold. I don't care. But again, you already have Josh Rosen. Is it necessary? I'd rather draft a quarterback, but if they sign Mitchell Trubisky, I'm going to like it because I'm a Mitchell Trubisky fan. I'm just a fan. I love his work. What can I say? I'm a Michael Bolton fan. Ben, what's up, Ben?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Florida State basketball is good, so I'm good. But
nice. How's UCLA basketball? I haven't watched in a while. Are they bad?
I don't even know if they're. I didn't see them in the Pac-12 tournament, so.
So what's going on, man?
No, I just wanted to start off because I wanted to talk about quarterbacks because I never hear you talk about that. But never. I wanted to just touch on the Trey Lance thing really quick. I think the biggest difference between him and Josh Allen that people aren't, I don't know if people haven't pointed out or said or whatever, is Josh Allen started like 28 games in college and threw like almost 700 passes. Trey Lance started like 16 and threw, I think I just had it up. It was like 288 collegiate passes versus Josh Allen's nearly 700. So to me, like that's something that right off the bat, I'm not into Trey Lance anyways, but I don't get that.
Here's the thing, though. What's scary to me is that Kyle Shanahan recently said he would have drafted Josh Allen in 2017. If you remember, there was some noise that Allen was going to leave Wyoming after 1 year. And people were like, this guy's really good. And then he decided to go back because he only had 1 year and he needed more seasoning. And he went back for no reason. The team stunk. He got hurt. But Shanahan's like, hey, if he had come out in 17, I might have thought about it. So that means he was going to spend a top pick on dude who had 373 passes and 209 completions. Maybe he's not being 100% truthful. But if that's true, then I got to feel like Trey Lance's inexperience is not a deal breaker for Shanahan the way it would be for me in round one.
Yeah, that's fair. And honestly, that's all I wanted to touch on with that because I'm really not into Trey Lance and I don't have much to say beyond that. But I wanted to really talk about the whole Sam Darnold thing because and I tweeted at you earlier this week a little bit about that.
Okay.
That would be the biggest disaster over this entire regime to me if they traded anything for Sam Darnold, let alone a second round pick. Yeah. Let alone a second round pick, because it's like, okay, if we're going to trade our 43rd overall for Sam Darnold, that means our top 100 picks this year are Sam Darnold and the 12th overall pick.
Yeah.
So that's just a no, like you can't do that in the first place to me. But then if you go even further into it, like Grant, the situation the Niners would be in best case scenario is that they have to accept his 5th year option, right?
Yes.
And that seems beyond realistic at this point because it's $20 million. Like if 49er fans aren't happy with paying Jimmy Garoppolo 25 to 27 per year, they're going to be pissed when they're playing Sam Darnold $20 million next year. So that's a deal breaker to me. And then like I think you alluded to it earlier in this week, you're basically in the Jimmy Garoppolo situation where you have to pay a guy for a certain number of games in your system because otherwise he's going to hit the open market. So it seems like an absolutely like no-win situation to me, and it makes absolutely zero sense. Like, is there any situation where you actually see that working out? Because for me, I think best case scenario is you have to freaking pay the guy, and then you're stuck in the same situation you were in the 2017 offseason.
No, it doesn't make any sense, but it's like desperation. I think the Niners are feeling like, man, we're here at 12, but Lance is going to go top 5. Mac Jones is going to go top 8. We don't like Justin Fields probably. What are we going to do? Are we going to take some guy at 43? I mean, we don't like anyone at 43, theoretically. What if, I mean, my dad kind of liked Sam Darnold a few years ago. What if we try to, it's like, no. And I think that was about it. And a lot of people, you and me, smart people, made a bunch of impassioned pleas the last few weeks. And I think we made a lot of good points. And the Niners were like, all right, okay, all right, goodbye. All right, I go there. So I was like, what are you going to do? Don't do it. And they hurt.
Yeah. Well, and just I think like what you're saying, like you just said, they shouldn't do that. That would be a terrible option. But I'm really starting to think, and I'm hopeful that Deshaun Watson is plan A for this team. I mean, I've been banging the drum for him this offseason because I would love to have him. But I also think the 49ers are just creating a scenario where they can make it easier and easier to get him, to me, with all the cap space they're clearing, all the stuff that they've been doing in the last few weeks. None of it, like I'm sorry, if they had a quarterback they would have wanted this offseason that wasn't Deshaun Watson, they would have already made it happen or made moves to make it happen, especially if they're going to go after someone in the draft. So to me, everything points to that they're going to try and go for a big swing with Deshaun Watson. And I feel like if it happens after the draft, it's even more in their advantage, especially with all the teams like the Miami, the Jets. They won't have that draft capital. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah. No, I agree. Real quick before I let you go, I think the way I read this is the Niners really do a good job of not leaking big moves. No one knew about the DeForest Buckner move before it happened.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that when Peter King said a high-ranking Niner, like someone very close to the Niners said this, it's like, that makes it feel like the Niners wanted to leak this, which makes me feel like it's not their plan A. Like they're trying to float out possible plan Bs that could happen in case they don't, because they can't guarantee they're going to get Deshaun Watson. And there has to be contingencies. So they float those. And then if they come through on Watson, they're the heroes.
They're the heroes.
Wow,
yeah.
my God. And if they don't, it's like, well, yeah.
And I'm just hoping that the Darnold thing was more of a favor to Robert Saleh than anything else, because man, that would be an utter freaking disaster. Like I would reconsider being a fan at that point, because no, I'm serious, because that it would be Jimmy G all over again, but even worse. And Sam Darnold hasn't even started 16 games in his career, right?
Ever,
not one season. So it'd be terrible.
Ben, I gotta let you go. Thanks so much for coming on, man. Always great to see you.
Good to talk to you as always, Grant.
Take care, man. Joshua says, hey, why can't Jimmy get a pay cut and we draft a quarterback? I think that's what could happen if the Niners don't cut Jimmy Garoppolo. They can go to him and be like, look, you got to take a pay cut. Otherwise, we're cutting you and you're going to sign for what we're offering you on this pay cut, because no one's going to pay you $27 million next year. And he might just say, you know what, cut me. I don't want to be here anymore. That's the problem. Hey, Grant, love the channel. Keep up the great work. Can we get a quick update on how your dad is doing? He's back home. He's off the walker. He's using a cane. He went downstairs. He's doing much better. He's almost done with in-home therapy. He's almost good to get in the car and go to out, therapy, whatever it's called. So thanks for asking. All right, Ken Bone. Hey, Ken. Good to see you again.
Hey, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Not too bad. I want to talk draft.
Okay.
I listened to what you're saying about Alex Smith. I think if we're going to replace Jimmy, Alex Smith is the only guy in the room, right? After his comeback story, the way that Washington treated him coming back to the Bay, draft a quarterback. If Kellen Mond is your guy, don't listen to the pundits. Everybody's saying Bill Walsh never did, right? He went and traded up, went and got Jerry Rice. Everybody was like, what are you doing? Turned out to be the greatest of all time. So you look at it, if Kellen Mond is your guy, take him at 12. Trade Jimmy, do whatever you can to get that pick from the Patriots. Take J.C. Horn, right? We need that guy in the secondary that can cover DK Metcalf, DeAndre Hopkins, Sam
Mosley
Bradford.
can't.
Sam
Mosley
Bradford
can't.
is going to go after us in the secondary. We need to build that secondary. Later rounds, address your offensive line or address it in.
You said Sam Bradford? You meant Matt Stafford.
Or Matt Stafford, sorry.
So I was like, who is he talking about? Okay, all right, Stafford. Yeah.
Sorry.
I got you.
In the later rounds, address the offensive line. There's some good guys there. Or address it in free agency. I'm going to give you a sleeper pick. The one thing that nobody's really talking about is tailbacks, right?
True.
So Mosfert, Wilson, history, right? They have injury history. Not that they're great backs,
but they do.
Right? I think we really need to sign Frank Gore on a vet minimum.
I'm with it. I like it.
The guy, great pass blocker, good at receiving the ball. You can even do a story where the boys have come back to the Bay, right, with Alex Smith and Frank Gore.
I got
right?
one more.
Okay.
Alden Smith. Alden Smith.
I was such an Alden Smith fan. The guy is a wrecking machine.
Yeah, right? Why not? And then if you get those three, maybe they get Joe Staley to come back.
I don't know. We can only hope, right? But this kid, I knew him growing up, right? He went to school with my daughter in elementary school. I know his dad really well, Chuba Hubbard, right?
Okay.
He had a great 2019 with Oklahoma State, had over 2,000 yards rushing. Kid's good. He's a lot better than what a lot of people are looking at. I think last year's a wash for a lot of stuff. You can't with the
pandemic. It was made it a very strange year.
Yes. A really strange year. No OTAs, no preseason. There's lots of stuff that's going on. But I'm telling you right now, that kid, you put him in our offense, that's a kid that could be a bell cow for us for the future. You want to build a dynasty again. Go get yourself, draft a quarterback. Draft a quarterback that you think is what's going to be, right? We already have guys on the defense side between Bosa, Warner. You draft J.C. Horn to look after the secondary, right? You need a running back. Frank Gore is an adult and a leader in that room as soon as he walks in, right? Like if you look at this, there was a story that came out with Singletary in Buffalo, right? And he wanted to meet Adrian Peterson. And Frank Gore went over, grabbed Adrian, and was like, hey, listen, this kid wants to meet you. And Adrian Peterson didn't even doubt it. That guy commands respect and leadership throughout the league. That's a guy that could help Mosford and Wilson with their injuries. Gore is super durable. He can teach them, show them the way, right, to be longevity.
And there's a total leadership void on offense, in my opinion, because Trent Williams, excellent player, not a leader.
Absolutely terrible, right?
George Kittle, hell of a player, not really a leader.
I love Kittle. Kittle's a spark plug. That's what Kittle is.
Exactly. It's different.
Right?
And he's great at that. Totally. Kind of Debo's a spark plug too. But who's the leader?
Debo has so much unlocked potential. That guy could, I see it. There's problems with his hamstring, but there's lots of talk about how guys are training in the training room and at practices. Shannon Sharp went on and said as he got older in his career, he couldn't run 100 sprints in a day. He had to basically taper off so that he wouldn't pull something. You're not the same anymore. Right. As you get older, as you get injuries, right? You're not the same. I know I'm 44. Like your body just doesn't work the way that it used to, right? So you bring these veterans in, especially on the offense, that can teach these young kids how to train properly and how to run through practices and everything else. But the big kicker has to be Kyle. Kyle has to be willing to listen to the leadership that he brings in.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
He has to be able to work with these guys. Now, you bring in Kellen Mond or whoever and Alex Smith, right? Alex Smith has one of the best resumes. Mentored Kaepernick, mentored Patrick Mahomes, right? Taylor Heineke said he did not want Alex Smith to leave that quarterback locker room.
Yep.
In Washington. That's a guy that you can bring in, bring a young guy along, and then when that young guy's ready to start, you make Alex Smith your quarterback coach. Agree.
Ken, I got to let you go, man. Thanks so much for coming on, man. I'm with you on Alex Smith. Let's see if we can make this happen. Appreciate you. Good talking to you. All right, man. Jacob says, what if the Niners trade back with Jacksonville at 25, pick up their second-round pick, draft best interior offensive line at 25, and then in the second round, grab corner and one cornerback? Dude, I like it. I like it a lot. Trade back. Jacksonville has a ton of picks. Tony says, is it just me or wouldn't both Duke Johnson and Marlon Mack thrive in the Shanahan system? Running backs tend to be cheaper unless your name is Jet McKinnon. Just draft the running back. No more free agent signings at running back, please. Do I have to sing it? I'll sing it. What's up, Sunil?
What's up, big dog? Hey,
man?
I want to start out just by saying I never believed the Sam Darnold news because it never made sense to me why supposedly Sam Darnold would fit Kyle Shanahan's system, but being traded from a team that's going to run Kyle Shanahan's system, it doesn't make sense. Like, why would the Jets trade him if he's
so Mike LaFleur doesn't want him, but Kyle's going to want him. How does that work? Yeah,
I think and one of the earlier callers said it best. I think they're just trying to build Sam Darnold's value so that the Jets can get a better trade or whatnot. But I kind of wanted to talk about just strategy this offseason because I think it's unique where you're just seeing a ton of great talent in free agency that are all like looking to not sign short-term deals to get into next year's free agency. So like if I were the Niners, I would kind of maximize that versus focusing so much on the draft. Like I would be looking for players with my picks that are like veterans versus just like going all in on this year's draft, because I think that if I can mortgage this year's draft and get like solid players that I know I could play. If I'm signing Trent Williams, I'm not in a like win in the future mode. I'm like win now mode if I'm giving him that much money. So like whatever I could do to mortgage this year's draft, as long as it doesn't go into next year's draft, I'm looking for players. And I'm big on Stephon Gilmore. I'm big on like getting like secondary to be our strength, because I think like NFC West, we got some of the best wide receivers, the best quarterbacks. We got to be able to have not just depend on our defensive line to get to the quarterback. We got to be able to have like those coverage sacks, like other teams with strong defense, strong DBs and stuff like that as well.
I'm with you. Here's the thing though. Those free agents that you're talking about, the guys who are going to sign on 1-year deals, they're going to go to a contender, I would imagine, or a place that has no state taxes, one of the two. And I don't know that the Niners definitely have state taxes. And I don't think that anyone looks at them as a contender right now, even with Jimmy Garoppolo. So that's why I feel like if they could trade for Watson like right now, then they could get all kind of people in free agency.
This is where I push back. I think they're going to look where they're going to be able to showcase the most. And San Francisco was the 5th ranked defense last year. So if you're part of one of the top defenses, like if you go to a contender, you're going to be lost in the mess of like, oh, this team was already good. But if you go to a defense with a brand new defensive coordinator and you go and show out, there's better chance you go make money than if you go to a contender and like are just one of the people that help the team stay good. That's how I see it.
One way or another, they need to be aggressive in free agency. They can't be like, well, we're not going to get them, so we're not going to try. No, you need to be working those phones, because this is the year. I really feel like if it's not the Niners, some team is going to put together a free agent super team that's only going to be existing for 1 year because of this lowered cap. And if it's not the Niners, it's going to be something the Niners are going to have to, deal with if they're good.
If we draft a quarterback, I don't know if we could keep Jimmy, because how good of a mentor will Jimmy be on a year where he's looking for his next contract as well? You know what I mean?
Wow. So how can Jimmy mentor anyone? It's not like he's exactly.
Well, if anybody, he should, but I guess he came from Tom Brady, who didn't want to mentor him. So maybe it's like
Jimmy's not a cerebral quarterback. He's not. He doesn't have much to offer. Like the mentor would be Nick Mullins, and he's not even under contract. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think another reason why we should go hard in free agency is because next year, if they leave, we get comp picks, or we can franchise whomever like we feel like we want to keep, long term or whatever the case may be. I just think it's a better strategy than just go all in on a few players this draft and then fill everything else with free agency.
Real quick before I let you go, if you think about it, drafting this year is going to be real hard, because how do you scout these kids that played 7 games or didn't play last year? You have a better bet getting it right with free agents. Sunil, thanks for coming on. We're going to talk this week.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. I'll talk to you. Hey, Varun, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you, Grant?
I'm good, man. What's going on?
Okay, actually, first I would like to really thank you about revisiting the Joe Montana interview with your dad, because it's important. The reason is, usually athletes talk about their vulnerabilities, nervousness, but journalists never do. Right?
Yeah.
So you talked about it. Another important thing is there are a lot of kids and younger generation watching your show. They watch your videos, and so many of them asked how they can become journalists, right? How to do this thing. So you spoke about how you plan about it and get over your nervousness and that how you broke down 15 minutes. That was fantastic.
Oh,
So,
thank you. Thank you. I
thank
appreciate
you very much for that, explaining
My
this
pleasure.
thing. Other thing is, please tell your dad, really appreciate his openness, how he talked about his relationship with Joe Montana. Because if you remember, during one sentence, he was going to say, I might have come hard on Joe Montana. Then during the middle of the sentence, he said, not might, I was.
Yes. Yeah, not might. I was.
Yes.
I was very hard on him.
And
But, yeah.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. No. Keep going.
Yeah. So, and he asked kind of a question. He thought he don't understand why Skip Bayless is that person in ESPN now.
Right.
The answer is ESPN is not a sports talk show. It's a reality show.
Right.
It's a sports version of American Idol.
Yes, of course. And of course. Well, he's not on ESPN anymore, but that's how he made his fortune. And it's,
yes. Yeah, that's the thing. And a real quick thing about Deshaun Watson scenario. You can wait. That's okay. But it can backfire. If we wait too much, it can be Kirk Cousins, Patrick Mahomes scenario.
Yes, agree. Absolutely. You're not going to draft a quarterback. You're not going to sign a quarterback. You let all these guys go by because you're waiting for the possibility to maybe possibly get Deshaun Watson, and then you don't.
Yes. If you make it, Kyle will be the hero. If you don't, 3 years down the line, we will say he waited for Deshaun Watson, who Texans never traded, and eventually he ruined it.
And look at the Rams. They didn't wait. Colts didn't wait.
Yes.
I'm saying that's why, hey, if you want Watson, do it now. Now. Because that way you get him and you know what your future is and you can bring in free agents and you're not just in this waiting period, this purgatory.
Exactly.
Franchise purgatory, which is where you are right now.
Yes.
Yeah. That's I'm with you on that one. Thanks. Hey, good call.
Okay.
Thanks for coming on, man. I'll see you tomorrow, maybe.
Okay, sure.
All right. Take care. Have a good one. It's the usual suspects, man. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
So two quick things. One is that, I went back and forth with the great Eric Davis on Twitter, which was my highlight.
Love Eric Davis. He's so smart.
He is very smart. And I said, hey, point blank, which NFC West team is going to win the division and who's the biggest threat? He didn't give me I said, your humble opinion. He said injuries is the biggest threat to the 49ers, right? And I just said,
ooh.
I said, why though? I said, it's kind of, I was kind of like, is that really? Because you could say that about any team, really.
Yeah.
But then he broke it down in a way to describe depth and, who's the next guy if this gets injured. And I think we have seen the 49ers, no matter whatever starter gets injured, their backup is pretty serviceable, right? And you can't say that about everybody in the division, especially like Seattle's offensive line. Their offensive line is terrible. They get someone that's injured, they look even worse. So that was kind of, telling that he's like, it's not really about the starters, it's really about the guys behind them. And if they get called in, can they be serviceable for X amount of games? And we have seen that. They can be for the most part on defense. Offense, hit or miss. And then the second point is that I think the 49ers really can't afford to get a quarterback, or shouldn't, because I think the opportunity to draft generational players, and quite a few of them, if they trade back, is just too good. Because I think there's going to be a quarterback frenzy, and I think this is going to be the year that we break the record of most quarterbacks selected in the first round. Don't you kind of get that sense that everyone wants to hit the reset button, salary cap's going down.
It seems like 4 are going to go in the top 8. At least 4 are going to go in the top 8.
Four. So from that, you're going to have a lot of talent that's going to be sitting there.
Yes.
And even if
Devontae Smith could be available. And I was looking at Daniel Jeremiah's latest mock draft. Devontae Smith was available. J.C. Horn was available. Rashawn Slater was the pick. They're going to have good options if they don't take a quarterback at 12.
And I also think that you may see a fundamental shift in the draft, that the 49ers start actually drafting offensive players, because I think they know that they're probably going to have to reset a little bit on defense. And I think that I think it's
They
time.
need the offense to carry the way.
I think it's time for Kyle to start, being a little bit much like Atlanta was that year where they were breaking records. They were very offensive led.
Yes.
And I think the NFC West, as good as they are, outside the Rams, there's no one really on defense that you're saying, okay, and even the NFC is not really led by defense as much as they're led by their older quarterbacks. So I think it's a perfect opportunity to draft offensive players, score.
If Slater's there at 12, I don't see how they pass on him unless there's a quarterback they like.
Yeah, see, I've got a bottle of wine. I don't think they're drafting a quarterback. I think they're keeping Jimmy. And I think that they are going to basically say, we're running it back. We've drafted people around him. Let's see what we can do. And then they'll reset next year.
Well, here's the real thing. Before I let you go real quick, what Eric Davis said about the only problem is injuries. The problem is that that's a very real problem for the 49ers. And if you bring back Jimmy Garoppolo, what do you expect to happen? I know what I expect. Hey, man, thanks so much for coming on.
Yep, I'll see you later.
Always a pleasure. And yeah, you look really good, by the way. You dressed up nice. You took a shower. Tell your wife it's nothing personal, man.
Yeah.
I see you, man.
I'm still getting grief for that.
That was great. Later, man. Nathan, what's up?
Hi, how are you?
I'm great, man. How are you?
Good. So today I wanted to switch it up because I know there's a lot of talk about quarterbacks, and the Sam Darnold thing is just ridiculous. It's just not even worth. I saw it and I was like, can't be real. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, I know you went to O'Dowd and I go to O'Dowd.
Oh, snap. Yes. Nice. That's what's up.
And you went to UCLA.
Yes.
My mom went to UCLA.
Oh,
so
cool.
I just wanted to have a conversation. So
for sure.
I know that a couple weeks, so I tried to get on last week, but I know that California is opening up the stadiums and the athletic places for 20% capacity or whatever. So I wanted to ask you, how has COVID-19 impacted your reporting job? Which one do you like more?
That's a great question. Hey, I can't get in the locker room anymore. And that was a really good way you could do business because Mike McGlinchey could have called me out by now. Me and Mike McGlinchey could have had, I used to do this stuff with Dante Pettis, and he would talk to me in the locker room and be like, dude, what the hell, man? Why don't you? Okay, Dante, fair enough. So you can sort of do business that way. But also, I live in Oakland, man. That's very far away. It's 80 miles a day, and it's 6 months a year. It's a lot of commuting. So I basically get to cover the team from my bedroom now. I do everything on Zoom. I don't hate it. I got to say, I don't hate it. And, it might be like this again next season. I'm like, oh, well, I guess I'll just won't put a bunch of miles on my car. But it is better to cover a team in person. And the scary thing is that the NFL wants to keep reporters away anyway. So you've already heard Goodell be like, oh, I kind of like this. This worked out pretty well. I don't know if I'm ever getting back in that locker room, which is too bad.
I mean, so do you get to talk to the players and do that every game, or how does it
but it's all Zoom now. It's all Zoom. It's all coordinated by the team. They bring players out. You talk in a group. It's not like you walk in a locker room and I walk up to George Kittle and be like, George, do you have a minute alone? Mm-hmm. Yeah or no. And that's the kind of thing you could do. So, it's changing. It's too bad, but at least I don't have to leave my room.
Yeah.
You're in Oakland too?
Sorry?
You're in Oakland too?
Yeah.
Nice.
Are you in Montclair? I think.
No, I'm over by Piedmont Avenue.
Oh, Piedmont Avenue. Okay.
Yeah. I drive a blue Stinger. So if you see me cruising around Oakland, that's okay. I'm the only person who drives a blue Stinger. What year are you at O'Dowd?
I'm a sophomore.
Oh, that's tight. Is Mr. Mason still there?
Yeah.
That's tight. That's tight.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right.
You have Mr. Green?
Yeah, I did have Mr. Green. Yeah, that dude was the track coach.
He's been there for 100 years.
He's so good. Did you have him?
Yeah.
Baller. He wouldn't remember me. I had him, but anyway. Hey, thanks for coming on, man. Come on anytime. Go Dragons.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
See you, man. Bishop O'Dowd Dragons, baby. John, what's up?
What's up?
What's up? How you doing?
Good. All right. I just need to say something. Dude, get Jimmy out of here, bro. Dude is so bad. Oh my God. Just release him, get a 6th-round pick for him. Just get the $25 million cap hit out of here.
Yeah, that's kind of, you think that's what's going to happen? I mean, if the Patriots are like, you know what, we're just going to go with Cam Newton and a rookie, have fun with Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't know if there's a market if it's not the Patriots.
That's what needs to happen. Like, I mean, I don't know if they'll do that, but like, I mean, I don't know. It's just like,
here's what they should do. Tell me if you think. If they can't trade him, they go up. I said this earlier. They go up to Jimmy like, Jimmy, we're cutting your salary. You're going to play for $15 million this year, and if you don't like it, we'll cut you, and you can sign with some other team that'll pay you about $15 million this year. That's all you're getting. No one would give you more than that on the open market. What would you say to that?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't really like Jimmy anyway. I just think you just got to reset.
I just don't like his face, right? It's something about his face, his general demeanor. Just move on, man. I'm with you. Joe Montana said the same thing.
Exactly.
How many games does he have to miss?
Right.
He's got $100 million, and he's over there taking notes, dude. What do you mean? What notes do you have to take? How many millions of dollars? Hundreds of millions.
Exactly.
Do they have to pay you before you? Nah, man. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I think
all right,
the team needs to hear this kind of passion from fans more before they do what?
Yeah. All right, another thing. Okay, let's say they get rid of Jimmy's contract, right? That would save them what, like $25 million?
Yeah.
All right, so now they would have $50 million, right?
Yeah.
In cap space. All right,
more like 55 million. Yeah.
What would you do?
You could sign Trent Williams and a center and a defensive end and a cornerback. You could get everything you wanted. Mm-hmm. You could revamp the defensive backfield and the offensive line and get a running back if you wanted. You could get everything. You could do whatever you wanted. You could get Alex Smith. I think it unlocks the entire offseason. Exactly. But the Niners won't do it. And I think what they're afraid is if they get rid of Jimmy, they'll be looked at as a rebuilding team, and all the cap space in the world won't matter. Players won't sign here.
I mean, that's the problem, though. They're always thinking of what everyone else is going to think.
True.
It's like, I mean, just do.
What will be the popular move? Just do something and make it work, and then people will like it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
John, all right.
What's up? One more thing.
Yeah. What about Robert Tonyan, like Tonyan or whatever his name is, over in Green Bay? I mean, I think he's a free agent. He came on strong the past year. And he's working out with George Kittle.
Why not? Yeah. If he's working out with George Kittle, that's even better. I'll keep an eye out for him, man. John, thanks for coming on.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Have a good one. Jeff.
Wow. I made it.
You made it, man. How you doing?
Not too bad. I'm going to have the Skip Bayless type of thought process here. Just bear with me.
Okay.
Okay, you mentioned June 1st in the past about Deshaun Watson. Like the pay penalty would be like a $35 million pay cut or sacrifice for the Texans. Mm-hmm. Okay, why not enter the draft just treating everything except for the quarterback position? Now, bear with me here. The 49ers need a quarterback, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Why not just draft everything other than a quarterback if Deshaun doesn't work out at June 1st, because the Texans will save themselves $20 million roughly?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Why not wait until then, draft everyone else? Because you mentioned Rashawn Slater, or a trade back for J.C. Horn, maybe another cornerback, and then trade Jimmy now, get everything you can from New England.
It depends. Basically, that I think it comes down to how the Niners feel about Josh Rosen. Because you want a young quarterback on the team to develop. And if they feel that that's someone that they're committed to developing, great. But if they're just going to cut him at the end of training camp and go in with a bunch of veterans on the team, I'm like, what are you doing? You need to have a young guy on this team that you're trying to develop. So look, if it's Rosen, great. I like that strategy. You don't have to draft a quarterback this year if you feel like Rosen. He's 24. He's freaking 24. How old was Aaron Rodgers before he became a starter? Like 26? So
exactly.
Fine. So I'm cool with that, but I would need to hear Kyle Shanahan say on the record, I really like Josh Rosen. We're working with Josh, and he hasn't said anything like that. So one way or another, they have to have someone that's young on the team that they're developing. That's all I'm saying. And if it's Deshaun, he's not developed. He doesn't need development, but he's young.
And before I let you go, your thought process of Josh Rosen, it's like, okay, look at Nick Mullins. Like Patrick Mahomes is the only guy who put up better numbers than him in his first 16 games. So if you could take a scrub like Nick Mullins and make him look great, except for our too many picks, like Josh Rosen is technically there, wait for Deshaun Watson, right?
Well, the difference between, before I let you go, the difference between Mullins and Rosen, and I think maybe it's good that Rosen was exposed to Mullins, is Mullins has the maturity of a 45-year-old man. That's why I love Nick Mullins, because
he doesn't have a beard though.
No, he needs the beard. But I'm 10 years older than Mullins, and I'm always impressed by how professional and mature he is. And that's the only thing holding back Josh Rosen is those two things. And if he can just emulate what Nick Mullins does, he'll be fine. But I don't know if he will. We'll see. It's on him. Jeff, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Yo.
Hey, Grant. How are you?
Good, man. How you doing? Where are you calling from?
Hungary.
Oh, you know Botan?
Yeah.
Hey.
Actually, I knew your show before I knew Botan, so it's quite
okay.
funny.
All right.
Right. I have a hypothetical trade for you.
Oh, let's talk.
We've seen these mock trades, whatever, from Peter King and from the First Take, Nick White, and whoever, but they don't know the 49ers at all. So what the trades they do is very unrealistic. So I'm trying to do something more realistic that fits the needs of the team. So the teams involved are the 49ers, the Jets, the Patriots, and the Houston Texans. So it's
four-way trade. Okay.
Yeah, four-way trade. So there are some assumptions, and those assumptions are the 49ers and the Patriots don't draft a quarterback in round one.
Okay.
So they don't have this huge start that they kind of forced to start early in the season. So the Jets draft a QB, but they still keep Darnold.
Okay.
This is kind of the situation.
Okay.
First of all, the 49ers trade Jimmy G and Wilson Jr. to the Patriots for a second-round pick. I feel like just Jimmy G for a second-round pick, it's a bit of a stretch. But with, easing it a little bit to the running back that they need anyways, it's more realistic.
I like it.
The 49ers also trade Fred Warner to the New York Jets.
Yes.
For 2 first-round picks and Sam Darnold.
Interesting. Okay.
I would rather get rid of Fred Warner because Joey Bosa is just so cheap for what he's doing.
That's like the Stafford trade. Instead of trading Stafford, you're trading Warner, you're getting 2 first-round picks and a quarterback that the team doesn't want. Okay, I like it. Keep going.
Okay. So, and then we trade our 2022 and 2023 first-round picks to the Houston Texans alongside the 2 first-rounders we get from the Jets. And the Sam Darnold goes to the Houston as well. And
nice.
Deshaun Watson.
I like it.
And also, just throw the second-round pick in from the Patriots as well. Why not? So it's the next 2 years, so not this year, but the following 2 years, 4 first-rounders and the second-rounder and Sam Darnold for Deshaun Watson.
Very clever. I appreciate you doing all the work and figuring that out. It seems to me that if Deshaun Watson moves, there may have to be like a 3 or 4 teams involved just to get all the assets necessary to Houston. You figured it out. I don't know if that's what's going to ultimately be, but that's really well done. Thank you for showing your work and sharing that with us. I appreciate it, man. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
That's good stuff. Anyone else that's got a hypothetical trade, that's the bar. He set the bar right there. Have a great time in Hungary. And if you see Botan, tell him I say what's up.
All right. Cheers.
All right, man. Good to see you.
Hey,
what's up?
What's up, man?
What's going on, man?
Everything's been good. How about you?
Yep. I'm pretty good.
Nice.
What's on your mind?
Okay. So I wasn't talking about the cash space itself. Something fans need to remember is that they can spend all of that money right away. Because if they do that, they're gonna end up like the Saints. They gotta consider at least 10 million are going into rookies and then draft free agents, right? And it seems that they're trying to make a hard push for Trent Williams. So I don't know how good that will turn out because he's very expensive. I don't know how expensive he is, but how much you guess he's asking for?
23.5 million a year. A little bit more than the highest paid offensive lineman. That's what he's going to get. And I bet you the Niners are cool to give it to him. And I bet you Trent Williams is like, well, appreciate it, but I'm just going to see if I can get a little more. Thanks.
Man, I don't know, man. I don't know how to feel about it. I would rather draft a younger guy, man, because I don't know. That's a lot of money.
A lot of dough for a guy who doesn't play quarterback. I wouldn't do it, but it's going to happen, I think, because he's Kyle Shanahan's favorite player. What are you going to say?
He's part of the clique.
Part of the clique, baby. He's in the clique. He's getting his money.
Yeah, well,
that could happen the next couple of days. We'll see what happens, though.
Yeah, But I don't think. I mean, I think he will stay because of that reason, because of the favoritism he had to Shanahan. And I don't know, man. I don't know how to feel about it. I mean, I think this team will be okay if they just stick up to the running game and they draft like a very talented running back. I don't know. I've been thinking about that the last days. You know, if they draft a really talented running back, I think they can make at least a hard push for the playoffs. You know,
they just need a quarterback who plays 16 games a year. A good one.
It's hard.
The whole Jimmy missing half a season thing isn't gonna fly anymore.
It ain't. And to be honest, man, I mean, I don't like any of the quarterbacks in this draft. They're too green for me. And like the pandemic season doesn't make it any better.
That's fair. Yeah, I know. It's just like good luck picking the right one. It's hard. Yeah.
I would say getting Alex Smith, but I don't think he wants to play behind the O line. I mean,
yeah, you're probably right.
Gonna get his own.
We're gonna see more Jimmy running for his life, man. Hey, man. Thanks for coming on, man.
And last point.
Oh, sure.
Like you said, not every player sees this team as a contender team. Contender teams are like the Rams, that top 5D. The Cardinals, who are pretty young, they have a young star in Kyler Murray. They have an elite receiver in Hopkins.
That's right.
I mean, the Browns, who are the Phoenix right now, they're coming up from their ashes. They're in the reborn right now. I mean, they have
it's not the Niners. It's not the Niners. Only way the Niners get that label is if they get Watson or something like that. It's not Jimmy. People look at Jimmy like, I don't know.
They're gonna be like, this ain't it.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Hey, man. Always a pleasure. I'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Of course, man. For sure. I Test Sports. You're muted. You got to click the little speaker button. There you go.
What's good, Brad?
How you doing, man?
Hey, man. Hey, first I want to say I appreciate you giving me a chance to get on your show. I've been watching you for a year, man. You are funny. Yo,
Thanks,
you are
man.
funny, bro. Like, you made me turn into the Grant Cohn of the Dolphin universe. Because I know it's kind of confusing. I have a Dolphin hat on. I live in Miami, but I grew up a Dolphin 49er fan just by chance, whatever. And then I played football at Fresno State with David Carr. So,
that's cool.
So now, with that being said, I've been able to follow both teams my whole life, and I've watched how the 49ers every 4 or 5 years will make a Super Bowl run, or they'll rebuild their team in a way to where we're contenders. When Harbaugh came, we kind of went down the thing with Tony Saragusa. I forgot the guy that came after Harbaugh. Tomasula, and then we had the Mike Singletary era. So all right. So what I'm saying is our team is not one of those teams like I've said the 49ers probably the greatest organization to be in football because they're the only team that ran the 90s and made consistent runs in the 2000s. Dallas fell off. Green Bay, us in Green Bay, it used to be a point in time, it was Green Bay, 49. I mean, it was Dallas, 49ers, and then Dallas fell off. Then it was 49ers, Green Bay, and they fell off. You know what I'm saying? But we've always been there. So,
but for the last 20 years, it's like Pittsburgh, Baltimore, New England. Those are the teams.
Yeah, but we're always in the mix because remember the year that Eli beat Brady? That was supposed to be our Super Bowl because Quan Williams dropped the punt. So
that's right.
I say that to say this, bro. Like we're on the right track, but I haven't seen us get that quarterback position right. I know y'all like Alex Smith. Colin Kaepernick was an anomaly. Like he just came out of the blue, and our team was just so dominant. Kind of like now. I don't see us trying to recreate that Harbaugh team. I see y'all trying to bring Gore back. Y'all trying to be Smith back. Don't do that. Start fresh.
Yep.
You got a nice running game. I like Jermichael Hasty. Get Javonte Williams. You feel me? Somebody like that.
Who's Javonte Williams?
The guy from North Carolina.
Oh, yeah. Everyone loves him. Yeah,
bro, him or Michael Carter.
Yeah.
Get those guys. And as far as quarterback, I'm with you. Go all in on Deshaun. Or stick with Josh Rosen. Other than that, Garoppolo gotta go because I hear y'all, bro, but Garoppolo, he has the same issue Tua has. Bro, they're not guys that could lead a team. They're guys that you need to build around.
Yes.
And they need 100% of everything to be working on all cylinders for them to even basically last year, that was a juggernaut of a team that got held back by one guy, and that was Garoppolo. He was the weak link of the entire team.
Yeah.
There was no weakness on that team, and you saw what happened. So you could build a 99% NFL team roster. If your quarterback isn't right, he's gonna miss a 30-yard bomb to Emmanuel Sanders and cost you a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
now you're 1 year removed from a Super Bowl, and you don't know where you're going now. You're stuck in purgatory, like you just said, because of the quarterback position. We don't know how Bosa's.
You're in Miami. What do you think of Josh Rosen? You've had an up-close look.
Bro, I love Josh Rosen. I remember when Josh Rosen came out of UCLA, out of the 3 quarterbacks that came out, it was Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, Josh Allen. Josh Allen just had you see the year Josh Allen just had? He just had the year that Jared Goff had when he made the Super Bowl run.
Yep.
He's gonna come back to earth.
Okay.
All that closing my eyes, throwing the Stephon Diggs, that's not gonna work next year. So Josh Allen is not what y'all think he is. Josh Rosen, I think out of that entire crop, if it shakes out the right way and Kyle gets his hand on him, he might be the best prospect out of that crop.
Wow.
Lamar, I don't see him developing into a pocket passer. He could run, but I don't know if he's gonna get there.
Yeah.
Darnold is damaged goods. I don't know if it's Gase or it's him.
Yeah.
Josh Allen, I just told you about him. He could run real fast. He could throw the ball real hard, but his accuracy still hasn't made that jump. I know he got a quarterback coach and all that, but when he almost cost them the what was the playoff game? The Indianapolis game. He almost cost them that game. So people like Josh Allen, Tannehill, Baker Mayfield, when it's crunch time, they're gonna fold. That's what I know about it. Jimmy Garoppolo is in the same boat.
Yep.
I really like Josh Rosen, bro. Like they didn't give him a chance in Miami. They basically scapegoated him. Basically, you feel me? So
and they brought in Tua, who's worse.
And honestly, I think they got rid of him because they saw what was going on in camp. Because the reports were he was destroying Tua in camp, and people don't talk about this. Tua has the lowest Wonderlic score out of all the quarterbacks that came out. No one talks about this.
I didn't know that.
Think about it. Everyone was complaining about why does the plays look different? Because you remember when Tua got benched, they were like, "Whoa, Ryan Fitzpatrick came in and the playbook looked." Maybe because Chan Gailey couldn't open the playbook for Tua because his Wonderlic score was so low.
Wow.
All Alabama quarterbacks throughout history have had low Wonderlic scores. It's crazy, bro. So there's little nuances about the game that people don't look into that I do. That's why I call myself I Tell Sport. And I'm very into like the stuff people don't see. That's why I like you, bro. Like you touch on
I like
things
you,
that,
man. This is a hell of a call. You played the game. I never played. What's your name?
James. But
James.
but you know, I'll go by
what's Jeff Tedford like?
Jeff Tedford.
Did you not play for Tedford?
Remember. Nah, I don't believe I did.
Who was the coach at Fresno State?
When I was there, it was when my receiver coach was Coach Grit, but then I had to get moved to FIU under Don Strock. I know. I don't know if you know who Don Strock is.
Nah. Anyway,
the Dolphin quarterback, Don Strock, FIU.
My bad.
But yeah, like that was such a while ago, but I've always kept that like I know football, bro. Like I've been in the film rooms. You've been in the locker rooms. Yeah. Like there's a part of football that fans don't understand that I do, and people think it's just get up, go play. No, it's a lot of things that go into it. It's very nuance based. It's very like it's as much as people want to think it's a physical game. It's really mental. Like you could look at what happened with Chris Godwin. Yep. Chris Godwin, he went from being a top receiver to having the yips in the playoffs. It's true. It happens.
And the thing that people like, I've covered a lot of different sports. People don't realize it. Football players are the smartest. They're the smartest. It's such a conceptual sport. All the stuff you have to understand and memorize. Baseball players might be the lead. Nothing against baseball players, but you don't have to think to play baseball. It's like, how many outs are there? Just react if it's a strike. Nothing. I play baseball. But football players are very smart. They have to be.
Bro, film room. We have to study our opponents, study ourselves.
Yeah.
Like it's so much that goes into it. And again, that playbook makes or breaks you. And the fact that people like Tua, and even to the point, like you said, you made a great point about Jimmy Garoppolo sitting on the sidelines. What are you taking notes for? Bro, you've been in the league. You were sitting behind Brady for how many years? You've been in Belichick. Go ahead.
They're paying you to be an expert. Like, you're still learning. What are you doing? You're 29.
Come on, bro. Like, he has to go. And on top of that, I really think he's what is it? It's a term for, you know how boxers get punch drunk?
Yes.
I really think Jimmy is hit drunk. I don't know if that's a term or not, but when people get around his legs, bro, Jimmy is tap dance city. He doesn't know where he'll spin around in circles. Bro, you do not want that as a quarterback, because now he's afraid of getting hit. And I've heard you make this point. He does not step into his throws anymore.
No.
Once you can't do that no more, you're done.
It's over.
Maybe Belichick could fix him, but at this point, Kyle Shanahan and him, whatever relationship they had, I know that's strained, because Kyle is already showing, bro, I can't win with you. It is not. I need to do something, but you're not it.
Yeah.
So that right there has already strained it. It might be strained in Miami with Tua, but the difference is Tua's a rookie, so you could dish rag him along. You can't do that with a veteran like Jimmy Garoppolo. Once his ego gets bruised and then he's seen as a joke in the media circle, bro, there's no way you're coming back from that. And if you do bring him back, now you have a disgruntled quarterback.
Yep.
That could ruin your team.
Yep.
So
because as soon as he gets a nick, as soon as he gets a little injury, hey, I'm out. I'll be back when I'm 100%. Yeah.
Come on, bro. You can't win with that. And then you're costing NFL. It's a very shelf life game, bro. Yeah. And our defense isn't going to stay intact like that for maybe they got maybe one more year of elite defensive play, unless we, you know what I'm saying, we draft right. And like I love you, bro. You said we haven't drafted a corner since Ahmed Plummer. Come on, bro. Like, do something.
Get with the times. What are you waiting for?
Bro, hey. Pastor Tan, all these guys. But, yo, I appreciate you, man. Hopefully I can get on some of these more calls. Hey,
of course, man. Definitely call in again in the future. You killed it, man. Thanks a lot.
Respect, man.
Peace. Yo, I got to end the show now. It's 11 o'clock. Shardal, Aria, Ross, Rich, Lee, I see you. Call in tomorrow. I'll jump you to the front of the line. Thanks, everyone, for calling in. Raymond, instead of worrying about the players next year, should the narrative be Kyle has to show he can be better in his decisions, play calling, roster, etc.? Hell yeah. Let's not forget that. Even though it's free agency, Kyle's the one that has a lot to prove. I will see you guys tomorrow. Shardal, Ross, Rich, I'll hit you up tomorrow. Thanks for calling in. Take care. See you later.